זה סיפור על אדם כה נחמד שהיה כאן, מסתובב בין כולם.
Steve, as we know, was beloved to all those who knew him, but his family, outside of his immediate family, Elaine, Shuli, and Leib, was Southeast Hebrew congregation. Steve was synonymous with the shul and entirely devoted to it. Steve loved davening, including the shul's unique minhagim, and was devoted to make sure that all of the shul's tefillos and scheduling ran smoothly.
Steve and Kibbutz L'chaim Tovim Elaine were already in White Oak when we moved in here over 40 years ago, and we were close friends the entire time. Steve's presence was constant and pervasive, so it's hard to talk about specifics. He was part of our everyday life. Steve was always an integral part of the community. His most obvious role was as gabbai for many centuries.
Steve was the gabbai forever. I think being gabbai is much harder than being president. I would never have traded places with him. And it was remarkable. I was thinking back about it, and all the years that Steve was gabbai, I can't remember anyone ever getting angry at him. No gabbai is going to be perfect. Even when, he forgot to say or whatever it was Steve. It's like, how are you going to get angry at Steve?
I was always amazed and appreciative of his patience and perseverance in filling this daunting task. His personality was such that it made him perfect for that position. He was able to deal with the myriad simchas, yortzites, requests for kibbudim, and requests to daven for the Amud by those deserving and those not so much.
People knew here in the shul that he would give psicha to anybody who was expecting at any point in the next 4 years. So one time he gave me psicha, and David Cohen of Shalom says to me, he goes, "Does Steve know something we don't know?" I said, "Not unless he knows something I don't know." And that week we found out my wife was expecting.
You also had to know the people's families, and Steve did that too. And then you also had to know in depth who the people were. And Steve's job transcended that to not only telling people, oh, well, why don't you daven, or why don't you lane, or whatever, but he wanted to build you up. Nobody who ever davened for the Ummah during Steve's tenure did not hear the words afterwards, "You're not getting older, you're getting better."
I remember Steve's famous line to people getting an aliyah. Steve would make the Misha Beirach and then ask the person how much they would like to donate. If the person would say matana, he would remind them that the gematria of matana is 495.
Steve was always thinking of the shul, and he was always thinking of the shul financially. So if you were the Baal Koreh, Steve was always reminding you, smile when they get an aliyah, they give more money.
Steve treated everyone in the shul respectfully and gently, and performed his long-time gabbai duties with grace and discretion. If there was a situation where someone might become angry, Steve always had a line ready to diffuse the situation.
He could diffuse egos with his deadpan humor. His pleasant demeanor in carrying out his duties made it hard for anyone to complain about his sometimes inscrutable gabbai decisions. For example, during Chol HaMoed, the shul had 2 minyanim for Shachris. Each minyan had 2 groups, one that wore tefillin and one that did not. Steve would schedule the first minyan such that the tefilliners were in one room of the shul and the non-tefilliners in the other. But for the second minyan, he would switch the rooms. Nobody could understand why he did that. My personal theory is that he found an obscure Barbanel which revealed to him the hidden meanings of this mystical switch.
I remember Steve would be like, the Barbanel came, he told me that, it was an inimitable way.
He would say the most outrageous things to you that if you didn't know him, you would say, who is this guy? But after you knew him, all of a sudden, everything began to make a lot of sense. and it really made you feel a lot better.
Despite the trials and tribulations of life, which we all undergo, Steve always had simchas hanefesh, a joyous soul. Steve's simchas hanefesh was infectious. He would strike up conversations with everyone. He used his psychology background and expertise to empathize and give encouragement to all those he interacted with.
Steve was a member of the Chevra Kadisha for many years. It can be a difficult job. It can be a somber job. Steve never went to a tahara without the next morning relaying to everybody who was into this, and then some, about how the tahara went. And it always ended with, and at the end, the mace got up and thanked us. There's an old Indian proverb regarding some blind men and an elephant. Apparently, there was a village in which no elephant had ever been seen, and an elephant came to town, and the blind men went around to see what kind of beast this was. One of them happened to be near the trunk, and he said that the elephant was like a snake. One was near the tail and said an elephant is like a rope. Another one happened to be near one of the large legs and said, no, an elephant is like a tree. And the chachma in this fable has nothing to do with blind men and nothing to do with elephants. When it comes to a human being, especially a very special person like Steve Koblin, everybody related to him in their own unique way.
Steve had a great love and connection to the Rabbi Zatzal, and the rabbi likewise loved Steve. Steve loved to learn and regularly attended the rabbi's shiurim. The Rabbi Zatzal not only had great regard for Steve and all his wonderful qualities, he was very grateful to Steve for his tremendous dedication and devotion to the shul for so many years.
Steve was a key contributor to the discussions we would have and would frequently regale us with the words of the Abarbanel. I can see the two of them b'chavrusa in the Olam HaEmes.
After he left this city, he still came back. He would come back pretty often. And, I always felt that he didn't really leave. In fact, I'm not sure that he's left, actually. If he would walk in tomorrow and take his seat, I would be surprised. We always felt that he was still among us. And when he left the shul, he left pieces of himself behind.
נשמות טהורות שרוצות רק לתת, לתקן ולבנות, להאיר את החיים. העולם מתקיים ונושם ועובד רק בזכות אנשים כה פשוטים, אנשים באמת, אמת ובתמים, פשוט אנשים